Welcome back to the Chanel USD Coins, coin enthusiasts, collectors, and curious minds from around the world. Today, we have an extraordinary story to unfold, one that revolves around a simple yet legendary coin. It's a coin many of us have likely passed over, perhaps handed to a cashier, or even tossed into a change jar without a second thought. But what if I told you that one of these coins, a seemingly ordinary 1980 Liberty quarter dollar, could be worth a jaw-dropping $2.5 million. That's right, a coin with a face value of just 25 cents, now considered by some collectors and auction houses to be worth millions. So grab your magnifying glass, get comfortable, and let's dive deep into the fascinating world of coin collecting, minting mysteries, and the compelling story behind this 1980 quarter that's turning heads across the globe. Now, before we unravel what makes this specific coin so valuable, let's rewind for a moment and understand the basic framework of the Liberty Quarter, also known more formally as the Washington Quarter. First minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington, this quarter replaced the standing Liberty design and became a mainstay in American coinage. Its obverse features the profile of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan, and over time, the coin underwent several changes, not only in design but also in composition and minting techniques. By the time we reached 1980, the Washington Quarter had been produced for nearly 5 decades. The design remained largely unchanged, but the material composition had shifted. From 1965 onward, quarters were made of a copper-nickel clad instead of 90% silver, due to rising silver prices. So, the 1980 Washington Quarter, or as some call it, the 1980 Liberty Quarter, was a common coin. Billions were struck that year, across several mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. And here's where things start to get interesting. Out of the billions, a few rare coins slipped through the cracks of quality control, harboring mint errors so peculiar, so rare, that they've now become million-dollar treasures. Now, you might be wondering, how can a minting error make a coin so valuable? The world of numismatics, coin collecting, is full of mystery and opportunity. Errors in minting aren't just flaws. They are historical fingerprints. They signify a lapse in routine, a deviation from the norm, and when that deviation is rare enough, and well preserved, collectors go wild for it. Rarity plus condition equals value, and the 1980 Liberty Quarter has all the right ingredients. One of the most astonishing features of some 1980 quarters is a misstruck or misaligned die error. Imagine the coin's image being slightly or even drastically off-center. In some cases, these quarters display an obvious shift where part of the design is missing or doubled. These errors usually occur when the die, the stamp that imprints the coin's image, moves out of its correct position. If the error is dramatic enough and the coin is still in uncirculated or near mint condition, it becomes immensely collectible, but misalignment is just one flavor of mint error. Another captivating feature is what's known as a double die. In some rare 1980 quarters, the die used to strike the coin was engraved twice, slightly offset each time. This leads to doubled images, especially visible on the date, the word Liberty, or In God We Trust. Double dies are fascinating because they happen during the actual die creation process, not just during coin striking. That makes them a true minting anomaly, more intentional in a way, and far more desirable to collectors. Then there's the issue of repunched mint marks. In 1980, mint marks were still hand-punched into dies. That means there was room for human error. A repunched mint mark occurs when the mint letter, like AD for Denver, is punched more than once, slightly off the original mark. These errors are subtle, but to a trained eye, they are unmistakable. Some 1980 quarters feature such repunched mint marks, and they're rare enough to command high prices at auctions, and let's not forget off-metal strikes. Now, these are incredibly rare, but not impossible. An off-metal strike occurs when a coin is accidentally struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, say, a penny or a dime. If a 1980 quarter was struck on the wrong metal disc, that would be an extraordinary find. The color would be off, the weight would be unusual, and the rim might be distorted. If verified, an off-metal strike can raise a coin's value astronomically. Another curious error is the clipped planchet. This happens when the blank metal disc that eventually becomes the coin is improperly cut from the sheet of metal. A portion of the coin might be missing, a crescent-shaped clip or an irregular jag. While minor clips are somewhat common, significant clips on a 1980 quarter, especially those affecting major design elements, are highly sought after. Then there's the legendary broadstrike. In this error, the coin is struck without the collar that normally shapes its edge. As a result, the quarter spreads out wider than normal, sometimes losing the reeded edge entirely. A broad-struck 1980 Liberty quarter in mint condition can be a visually stunning piece, and when combined with other errors, its value can be sky-high. One of the most bizarre and valuable combinations seen involves a 1980 quarter with multiple errors. Imagine a coin that's both broad-struck and double-die, or one that's misaligned and has a clipped planchet. These combination errors are the holy grail for error collectors. When multiple mistakes happen on a single coin, the chances of another identical piece being out there drop dramatically, making it potentially unique. And uniqueness is everything in the collector's world. Now let's talk mint marks more closely. In 1980, quarters were produced at the Philadelphia, No Mint Mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S, mints. Philadelphia generally struck circulation coins without a mint mark. Denver coins bore the D mark. San Francisco minted primarily proof coins, designed for collectors. It's important to note that a proof coin with an error, especially from San Francisco, is exceedingly rare. If such a coin exists with a cameo finish and a significant minting mistake, it could be worth hundreds of thousands, even pushing toward the $2.5 million mark if verified as one-of-a-kind. Philadelphia coins in particular have a history of interesting errors because of the sheer volume they produced. Billions of coins left the Philadelphia Mint, and although most were flawless, the law of large numbers means a few notable mistakes slipped through. Coins with no mint mark but bearing error characteristics can often be traced back to this facility. The Denver Mint, while also producing millions, had its own share of quirks. Some 1980 D quarters have been found with rotated dies, a kind of error where the obverse and reverse of the coin are not aligned properly. Hold the coin with Washington upright, and flip it vertically. On a regular coin, the eagle should be upright too. But on a rotated die error, the eagle might be tilted, even upside down. This dramatic visual is prized among collectors. San Francisco's proof errors are far rarer. Occasionally, a coin escapes quality control with a weak strike, a spotty cameo, or even a mispunched date. And remember, proof coins are struck multiple times to ensure detail and clarity. If even these carefully crafted coins show an error, the value can be astronomical due to the low mintage and strict standards expected from proof issues. There's even talk in numismatic circles about an ultra-rare 1980 quarter struck on a transitional planchet, perhaps using leftover stock from the late 1970s or early 1980s experimental pieces. These would be coins struck on the wrong metal or with pre-1980 alloy compositions. Their weight, sound, and appearance would all feel slightly off, but not necessarily noticeable to the average person. Only specialized testing or high-resolution imaging would confirm it. What truly fuels the multi-million-dollar valuation, though, is provenance and grade. Coins graded by respected agencies like PCGS or NGC and certified as having unique or multiple mint errors can achieve insane prices. An MS-67 or MS-68 grade on a rare error coin can make all the difference between a few $100s and several million. And if that coin has been part of a notable collection or auctioned at a prestigious house, its story adds even more value. Let's talk about the buyers too. High-profile collectors, museums, and investment groups are always on the hunt for one-of-a-kind items. A 1980 Liberty quarter with the right mix of error, condition, rarity, and certification fits that profile perfectly. These are the kinds of coins that don't just end up in personal collections, they become showpieces, displayed in secure cases, insured for millions, and whispered about in coin conventions and forums. It's important to recognize how speculation plays a role in these values too. Just the rumor of a $2.5 million sale or an ultra-rare error variant can send collectors rushing to search their old change jars, coin rolls, or inherited collections. And sometimes, the value isn't determined by the coin alone, but by the excitement, the buzz, and the possibility that you might just have the next $1 million piece in your pocket. As more people become aware of rare coins and their values, the hunt intensifies. Online marketplaces like eBay, heritage auctions, and great collections have seen rare 1980 quarters fetch impressive sums, sometimes thousands, tens of thousands, or more. And as new discoveries are made, those values continue to climb. The $2.5 million valuation, while extreme, isn't just about the coin, it's about the narrative. A coin with multiple confirmed errors, pristine condition, and authenticated provenance could very well justify. Today's video is going to blow your mind as we explore a fascinating and mysterious coin, the 1983 Liberty Quarter Dollar from the United States, a coin that has taken the numismatic world by storm with its reported value of up to $2.2 million. That's right, one single 1983 quarter has become the stuff of legend, thanks to a rare combination of minting errors and historical context that make it extremely desirable to collectors all over the world. Now, before we go into the details that make this coin so incredibly valuable, it's important to understand what makes a coin rare in the first place. In most cases, rarity is determined by a combination of factors: low mintage, historical significance, unique design features, and most notably, minting errors. These are the unexpected mistakes that happen during the coin production process, often resulting in coins that look slightly or dramatically different from how they were intended. Some of these errors are so subtle that only expert eyes can detect them, while others are visible even to beginners, and it's these errors that can turn a coin worth 25 cents into a multi-million-dollar treasure. So let's travel back to the year 1983. Ronald Reagan was president, the Cold War was still underway, and the U.S. Mint was busy striking millions of coins for everyday use. The $quarter-dollar coin, commonly known as the Washington Quarter, had been in circulation since 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. By 1983, the design had remained largely unchanged, featuring the iconic portrait of Washington on the obverse and an eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse. But something unusual happened that year, something that would forever change how collectors viewed the coins minted in 1983. One of the most significant reasons why the 1983 quarter has gained notoriety and tremendous value lies in a specific set of errors associated with it. First and foremost is the absence of the mint mark on some specimens. Most quarters from that year were struck at either the Philadelphia Mint, which did not use a mint mark, or the Denver Mint, which used a D mint mark. However, some rare 1983 quarters have surfaced that show inconsistencies in the placement, size, or presence of the mint mark. In some cases, the mint mark appears to be missing entirely from a coin that should have had one, while in others, the mark is so faint that it can barely be seen. This kind of anomaly immediately catches the attention of experts and can drastically increase the coin's value, but the mint mark isn't the only thing that went wrong, or right, depending on how you look at it, with the 1983 quarter. Another major issue was with the planchet, which is the blank metal disc used to strike the coin. During the early 1980s, the U.S. Mint switched from using silver to a copper-nickel-clad composition for most of its circulating coins. However, in rare instances, coins were struck on the wrong planchets. Some 1983 quarters were accidentally struck on planchets meant for other denominations, such as dimes or even foreign coins, creating dramatic size and weight discrepancies. A 1983 quarter struck on a dime planchet, for example, would be smaller and lighter than normal, and this error alone could add thousands, or even hundreds of thousands, of dollars to the coin's market value. Then there are the strike errors. Coins are supposed to be struck cleanly and uniformly, with sharp details that match the die design. But sometimes, due to mechanical malfunctions or misalignment, the coins are struck off-center, double-struck, or exhibit die cracks, cuds, or other unusual features. A 1983 quarter with a double strike, where the coin was struck more than once in slightly different positions, would show ghosted images or overlapping details. Off-center strikes might result in part of the design missing entirely, with the blank surface of the planchet still visible. Die cracks can create lines across the coin's surface that weren't part of the original design, and all of these features are considered rare and desirable by collectors. Among the most well-known and widely discussed errors on the 1983 quarter is the reverse die break, which caused portions of the eagle's wings or tail feathers to appear distorted or cracked. This kind of break can occur when the die used to strike the coin becomes damaged or worn, creating imperfections on every coin it strikes. These die breaks, when combined with other errors like off-center strikes or wrong planchets, can exponentially increase a coin's value. The more severe or unusual the error, the higher the interest from collectors. It's also worth mentioning that the early 1980s were a turbulent time for coin quality control at the U.S. Mint. Due to budget constraints and increased production demands, quality assurance often took a back seat, allowing more errors to slip through undetected. This context is important because it explains why so many errors from this era, especially in 1983, exist, and why they are so valuable today. In particular, collectors have noted that the 1983 quarters seem to have an unusually high number of error varieties, more so than many other years in the modern Washington quarter series. Now let's talk about the coin that reportedly sold for $2.2 million. What made this particular 1983 quarter so unique? According to expert reports and auction documentation, this coin displayed a rare combination of features that made it a once-in-a-lifetime find. First, it was struck on a planchet intended for a foreign coin, giving it an unusual weight and coloration. Second, it had a dramatic off-center strike, with a portion of the design completely missing. Third, it lacked a mint mark, suggesting it may have been struck at an unidentified facility or under extraordinary circumstances. And finally, the reverse side exhibited an extensive die break running from the eagle's wing to the coin's rim, a flaw so dramatic that it essentially created a new variety in the eyes of collectors. When all of these elements are found in a single coin, you have what's known in the numismatic community as a unicorn, an incredibly rare specimen that is unlike any other. Such coins often generate bidding wars at auctions, with wealthy collectors and institutions eager to add them to their collections. The $2.2 million price tag might seem unbelievable for a 25-cent coin, but when you consider the historical context, the extreme rarity, and the condition of the coin, it starts to make sense. This is not just a quarter, it's a piece of American minting history. Another interesting aspect of the 1983 quarter is its connection to coin roll hunting, a hobby where enthusiasts search through rolls of coins from banks or circulation in hopes of finding rare or valuable specimens. The discovery of valuable error coins in circulation is what keeps this hobby exciting, and the 1983 quarter has become one of the most sought-after targets. Coin roll hunters have reported finding coins with partial collars, die clashes, broad strikes, and other unusual characteristics. Each of these variations can significantly raise the value of a coin, especially when paired with clean surfaces and minimal wear. As always in coin collecting, condition is everything. A 1983 quarter with common circulation wear and no noticeable errors is generally worth only its face value, 25 cents. But when you find one with crisp details, minimal wear, and a known error or anomaly, it becomes a candidate for professional grading. Coins that are authenticated and graded by reputable services such as PCGS or NGC can command higher prices, and the grade itself, ranging from low circulated grades to mint state, plays a major role in determining market value. A mint state error coin from 1983 can be worth hundreds, thousands, or in extreme cases, millions. Now, some viewers might wonder, how do you know if you have one of these valuable 1983 quarters? The good news is that you don't need to be a professional numismatist to start looking. All you need is a magnifying glass, some patience, and a little bit of knowledge. Look closely at both sides of any 1983 quarters you find. Check for missing or faint mint marks, unusual colors, weight differences, off-center designs, and any cracks or raised lines in the coin's metal. Compare your coin to online databases and auction records. If you suspect that you found a rare variety, consider having it evaluated by a professional coin grading service. It's also important to avoid cleaning or altering the coin in any way, as this can reduce its value significantly. Even if the coin appears dirty or tarnished, collectors prefer original surfaces. Attempting to clean or polish a coin can scratch or damage it, potentially ruining its collectability. Instead, store it safely in a holder or flip and seek expert advice before taking any further action. The story of the 1983 Liberty quarter dollar is a fascinating reminder that there's more to our everyday change than meets the eye. In a world where most people don't think twice about the coins in their pockets, a single quarter from over 40 years ago has managed to capture the attention of collectors, historians, and investors alike. Whether it's because of a missing mint mark, a dramatic die break, or a surprising planchet error, this coin represents the unpredictable and exciting world of coin collecting, where the ordinary becomes extraordinary and the forgotten becomes priceless. As more and more people become aware of the hidden gems hiding in their change jars, the hunt for rare coins like the 1983 quarter continues to grow. New discoveries are being made all the time, and with advances in technology and increased interest in numismatics, it's likely that we haven't seen the last $1 million quarter yet. If you have a 1983 quarter, or any old coins, for that matter, now might be th.